There. Now we're back. Sorry about that. Okay. I found this, and I was very confused about it. Don't know what it is. I don't know what level of autism it is.
What if you could bring your imagination to life for real? Play with your creations and let them play back with you. Well, that's exactly what we've built.
Wait, really?
Introducing the LEGO Smart Play System.
Oh, boy.
A new platform made of endlessly interactive smart bricks. Hold on, so you can interact with the little guys now? All connected to bring play to life like never before. Whoa, was that a burp? These things can burp and react to how you move with dynamic sound and lights.
Does it just light up? It said that it knows what kind of thing it's connected to, so does it send an electrical charge through it? Is it a battery? What the fuck is that thing? I'm so confused.
Holy schnitzel, there's lights. One brick to turn your LEGO builds into an opportunity to create, explore, and unlock your imagination.
Ducks? This is gonna be huge. Huge!
Come play in the next dimension with the LEGO Smart Play System.
That's fucking nuts. Bet a bunch of little autistic kids are gonna be like, hell yeah. That Professor Grass guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. So I've heard of the remix machines where you can get all sorts of different types of sodas mixed, and I've tried one or two. There's one in my Dairy Queen. I just barely go inside for Dairy Queen. And now they have a Heinz one. I don't know if this is real or not. Seems like it's AI.
Good afternoon, casino guests. We're going to introduce to you our
At a fucking casino. What the fuck?
brand new Heinz Remix machine that will give you custom sauces. Build over 2,000 sauces. We're the first in the state of Washington to have this machine. To demo how this works, you're going to click the start button and then you can choose from their recipes or build your own. So what we're going to do today, we're going to look at all the different recipes that they have. There's ketchup, mayonnaise, barbecue sauce, mustard, and ranch dressing, and then all these additional featured recipes as well. Honey mustards, jalapeno ketchup, buffalo ranch, chipotle aioli, sweet and smoky barbecue.
I've been squinting at this motherfucker ever since he started talking, right? And I just need to know one thing. Have a Mai Tai?
Mr. Khan, I'll have a Mai Tai. What you think? I work for Hank?
Dad, this here's my new neighbor.
He's Japanese. No, he ain't. He's Laotian. Ain't you, Mr. Khan?
Sorry,
Bacon,
I was
ketchup,
unaware of what
bacon,
kind of
garlic,
Asian that
ranch,
man
ketchup,
was.
and more.
Had to get
But we're
hot
going to
now.
make our own because we like to build our own flavors.
Puerto Rican?
All right, my
I don't know,
favorite
that's not
flavor
that's
is
not
ketchup.
Asian. I'm too high to
And
guess
then I'm going to add
races.
bacon and jalapeno to my mix. And so once you build your flavors, you can add up to 2. You're going to say
That's a
mix
very
my
gay
sauce,
man,
and
though.
it's going to tell you to place an empty cup right
I wasn't
below.
even going to ask if that was frozen or not.
And then you're
because,
going to
like,
click start
frozen's
mixing.
not gay.
And here it goes.
Bacon and jalapeno ketchup. A little shake.
It's going through its final mixing and it's almost done. And it's complete.
That's kind of cool, actually. Let's move on. I don't know why this says hotels won't be happy, but this is kind of a nifty device I need.
The hotel's not going to be happy if they know you have this device, but I'm going to tell you about it anyways because this is a wireless HDMI transmitter. This is the transmitter with USB-C. You just plug it in just like this, easy as that. So the second piece is the receiver. It has a HDMI port and it actually comes with a little HDMI cable if you want to use this, and you're just going to plug that in to any TV. So I'm gonna go on YouTube, landscape mode, and look at this. We're screen mirroring already. It was that easy. And
Yeah, and you can also use pirate sites and watch wherever the fuck you want.
look, it's a HD connection.
Like Ted Season 2.
It's not
Cop.
just the video, it's the sound as well. And the best part is, I don't have to connect to a Wi-Fi network or a Bluetooth network. This is an independent connection from this transmitter to the receiver. But don't worry, because you can still charge with the USB-C on the transmitter
hell yeah.
while you're screen mirroring. Remember, you don't need to know a Wi-Fi password, you don't need to know any Bluetooth passwords. It's an independent connection from the transmitter to the receiver. It doesn't get...
Cool. Let's move on. Oh, I found this. I hope Spirit's here. Interested in stuff. This Shane Schnatzel guy on Twitter is saying that the Jewish temple will never be properly rebuilt, but if Christian gets involved in the attempt of rebuilding process and supports the rebuilding, the Christians denying Jesus Christ, promoting the goals of the Antichrist. I don't know.
What about the temple?
According to the fathers of the church, at least the ones that I've read, Christ actually put an end to the Jewish sacrifice on purpose, because the Jewish sacrifice in the Old Testament was a lead up or a prefigurement of Christ. And so he gave them one generation in order for them to convert to Christianity. And when they didn't, he put an end to their sacrifice. So technically speaking, there hasn't been practicing Jews in 2,000 years because the temple hasn't been around. They haven't been able to offer sacrifice. Doesn't mean that they don't pray and things of that sort, but they haven't been able to enact their primary religious duties, which is to offer sacrifice. Plus,
What if they built their own temples, or not temples, but their own, excuse me, they can't just build their own altars at home and fucking do sacrifice? Like, I don't know how fucking Jews do it or whatever, dude. I don't know if they do animal sacrifice anymore. If they do, whatever. You know? I don't know if it's just like they just get together and have a barbecue and just call it fucking sacrifice, you know? But, with sacrifice, pretty sure you have to burn the entire deal, right? Because you're fucking sending it to God and transforming it through the fucking fire and letting it eat it. You know? I don't know. I could be fucking completely retarded.
their Levitic line, which is their priestly line, was destroyed. So, but then, and the difficulty is people tend to misinterpret the book of Daniel, which says, when the abomination of desolation takes its seat in the temple. What they don't realize is that is not a reference to the Jewish temple. That's where the Protestants are getting it wrong. So a lot of the Protestants are thinking, oh, well, let's help the Jews rebuild the temple, and then that will usher...
And seeing Jesus and hanging out with God for the rest of eternity and shit, you know? I'm a Christian. Hell yeah. Fucking my man Jesus, you know? But, like, I would rather, like, I don't know, just live for a little longer, because, like, I'm only, like, you know, just got my family together and want to see my kid grow up and shit like that, you know? Like, not really wanting to rush to the apocalypse, you know? And also, no man should know the date, so, like, God's just gonna do it whenever the fuck he wants, so why the fuck should I get involved? Why can't I just live my life, and then whenever Jesus comes back, he fucking takes all the bad guys out, you know? Or whatever. You know what I mean. Apocalypse happens. Fight for Armageddon and all that good shit.
And as a result of that, the temple has to be rebuilt in order for the Antichrist to put himself in there. So let's do that so that the Antichrist will come, and then that means that Christ will come.
All right, yeah, peace out, Navasa. Thanks for stopping in, dude.
Well, first of all, just getting through the years of the Antichrist is going to be brutal, so I wouldn't be pushing that.
Yeah, dude, like, why the fuck would you want to go towards the fucking apocalypse? Like, straight up, like, be nice to people and shit, but, like, somebody's like, hey, bro, you want to start the apocalypse? Be like, no! I would rather not do that. Why the fuck would I want to start the apocalypse? Come on! Like the CIA was like poking the fucking entirety of America, going, "Go on, do something, do a terrorism, go on, fight back. We're being tyrannical, bro. Come on." And then they were like, "Fine." They went over to some weird Gnostic people, and they were like, "Hey, you want to, start the apocalypse?" And like kicked a rock towards him, looking down at his feet. No. We're not over here planning the apocalypse. You got plans?
Reference to the abomination of desolation taking its seat in the temple is actually a reference to the Catholic Church. That's what the fathers say it's a reference to. That there's going to be some way in which the situation in the church will become compromised to such a degree. It doesn't mean necessarily people have to know it, but its essential elements will still remain intact.
I mean, screwing kids is probably terms for fucking termination if you were just doing that in your church, or covering it up, for instance, like the Vatican did. Just for instance.
But that the Catholic Church itself would become compromised in that process.
Jeez.
How about Michael?
So Michael, the general belief among the theologians and who have studied this and that type of thing is that he's actually one of the archangels. So he's from the second of the lowest ranks. So which is actually one of the reasons why it's so humiliating for Satan to get kicked out of heaven by him, is because it was humiliating. But as Thomas Aquinas says, anybody in heaven has what they call prelation over anything below them. And so those in hell, anybody in heaven can cast out any demon in hell, God permitting. But St. Michael is, most people are unaware of that, St. Michael is actually the guardian angel of the elect. So those who are, God has pre-chosen that they're going to go to heaven. And so they're actually...
God is pre-chosen for certain people to go to heaven.
Wait, who the fuck is this guy? This is one of those one people... what the hell was that? I think it's the Church of Latter-day Saints. Where they're just like, oh, there's only going to be like 300 people that go into heaven. It's like, what? So why though? Like, why would God limit the manpower for the war? Like, why would you do that? It just sounds like a bad strategy move.
Yeah, because God, if you remember, it's actually part of divine revelation. Christ said, "Many are called, but few are chosen." And it's God who chooses. It doesn't mean that we don't cooperate in that process. We have to cooperate in the lead up to it, but ultimately it's God who gives us the final grace to make to bridge the gap between ourselves and Him, right? But so in the Catholic Church, we actually we call it a non-mutual predestination. We believe that God chooses who gets to go to heaven, but and there's indications of what that. But if you end up in hell, that's your own fault. Because you could have, if you would have cooperated with God, you could have made it to heaven, type of thing. Okay. So he's the guardian angel of the elect. So that meant that that's why it was his job to kick out the demons from the company of the angels that remained faithful, who were the elect. And so he's the one that kicked him out of heaven. Because he's the guardian angel of the elect, that also means that he became the guardian angel of the Jews, the Jewish religion, in the beginning, because they were the chosen people. But once, according to the fathers of the church,
and if I remember right, on Moose Heaven, check out Moose Heaven every Friday, he said that Michael got his name from beating the serpent down into the fucking Lucifer or whatever, back down into the earth. He was saying, "Who's like El?" as he's beating the shit out of him. Who's like El? Which is pretty badass, not gonna lie.
Church, they apostatized and rejected Christ. They ceased being the chosen religion and the chosen people. And now it's transferred to Christians who believe in Christ. They are now those who are he's the guardian angel of the elect of those of us who believe in Christ. And so that's actually also why historically the saints have talked about how when a person who is destined to go to heaven dies, it's Saint Michael who accompanies them into God's presence.
So we're the chosen people now.
Yes.
Anybody who believes in Christ is chosen.
That's right. Which is actually the big mistake that people make, is still thinking that they're the Jews are the chosen people. They were, but they rejected their inheritance. They refused to accept Christ, because even the Jewish religion was ultimately a lead up to and a partial revelation in relationship to Christ. So once he came, this is why Christ was so harsh on them. The first time I read this, I was stunned. St. Thomas Aquinas actually makes the observation. He said that the prophets and the patriarchs of the Jews actually knew that God was triune, and they knew he was going to become incarnate. They knew this because we see this in the book of Isaiah. It's revealed in the book of Isaiah, and it's revealed in various parts of Scripture and so the Jews actually knew this. This is why Christ was so harsh on the Jews, that when he came, he said, you guys knew this. You're calling me that make myself equal to the Son of God. You knew that God was going to become incarnate. It's basically what's being taught there. So the point being is that the fact that they apostatized and rejected ultimately God. And
real quick, I don't like that he just said the basic point of that was this. That means that we have to go on this dude's interpretation of whatever the fuck was written there. I don't particularly like that.
The end, which is why they cease being the chosen people, which is why God gives them that, as I mentioned before, he gives them maybe I didn't mention it to you, but he gave them one generation. So after Christ dies, in the year 70 AD, the Romans destroy Jerusalem, and that's why now none of the Jews are practicing their religion, because none of them are offering sacrifice. That doesn't mean that they're not living up according to certain parts of the Old Testament and things of that sort, but they're not actually performing the ceremonial laws.
Interesting.
And that's why they're so driven to rebuild the temple.
Okay, so, whatever. Let them rebuild their temple and do their fucking rituals. If they're not hurting anybody, right? That's how I can say that Jews can do their thing, but the Satanists can't do their thing. You know what I mean? Because the Jews are out there just this ram is part of our stock, and we fucking killed it and we sent it to God. That's cool. That's fine. Do whatever your fucking thing is. Live in America. That's whatever. You're not hurting anybody. Then the Satanist is like, well, fucking my God wants me to kill a baby. And it's like, well, fuck you. You can't do that. You know what I mean? It's like a different thing. Entirely. So why? Who cares? Let the Jews build their temple and fucking slaughter rams in it. Fucking gross. Or custodian jobs.
I've heard people say that they think that
The chairs
Michael
look really comfy.
is Christ himself.
What?
Is there any validity to that?
No.
No, nothing.
So Christ, which we know from divine revelation, is God who assumed a human nature. Saint Michael is an angel, which is a different angel, a different nature altogether.
Okay. Is there anything else in the hierarchy we should know?
Other than in my book, I talk about them, go into detail about what each individual rank is actually for. But the main thing is that people need to really start relying on them more, because they're here to protect us.
No.
Yeah, angels rule. Move on. To a trick shot for the ages. Let's watch.
You've almost seen that cue ball stop with the spin, and it would have arced around more. Scott's doing to Carl exactly what Carl would be doing to Scott in this situation, and I think that's a pretty good recipe for success in this frame. As well, Carl's pulling out all the shots here.
Where's he going here?
And your guess is as good as mine. A Massey from Morris. Oh my word. Oh my god. Oh my god. What a shot.
Impressive work, sir. Let's move on. A flaming motorcycle rider. I want to see the burns afterwards. I bet it's one of those jackets and it's like can be lit on fire or whatever. Fucking stupid.
Also, he is the fastest.
Who heard that? The fastest. Fastest what?
Swordsman in the world. Also the Guinness World Record holder. He can turn ordinary pens into dangerous hidden weapons. Even the police, after watching his videos, urged him to register quickly. He is one of the last few inheritors of the art of Mo Ying, known as Mo Ying Xing Luo. In the heart without women, the sword naturally becomes divine. His sword can complete a lightning fast, slash in just fractions of a second. Before you blink, he has already sliced the apple in front of him in half. What's terrifying is his ability to swiftly, accurately, and flawlessly return the sword to its scabbard. Not only is his swordsmanship outstanding, but his agility is also remarkable. He moves with such ease, capable of executing a 270-degree drift while running at high speed. His vision is astonishing too. He can deflect swiftly shot arrows with a single stroke of his blade. Moreover, he is an all-around talent. I believe even if the national team were to challenge him in table tennis, they might not necessarily prevail.
And that is why that ninja is our green pill dude of the stream. Alright, folks, I'm going to hop over to... fuck it. Let's not do Rumble exclusive tonight. Let's just watch it. It's an old 1942 USDA official Hemp for Victory. We're just going to watch that, and then I'm going to get out of here for tonight. I got to get some sleep and do some DoorDash, because this isn't making any fucking money.
Long ago, when these ancient Grecian temples were new, hemp was already old in the service of mankind. For thousands of years even then, this plant had been grown for cordage and coarse cloth in China and elsewhere in the East. For centuries prior to about 1850, all the ships that sailed the western seas were rigged with hempen rope and sails. For the sailor, no less than the hangman, hemp was indispensable.
Oh.
A 44-gun frigate, like our cherished old Ironsides, took over 60 tons of hemp for rigging, including an anchor cable 25 inches in circumference. The Conestoga wagons and prairie schooners of pioneer days were covered with hempen canvas. Indeed, the very word canvas comes from the Arabic word for hemp. In those days, hemp was an important crop in Kentucky and Missouri. Then came cheaper imported fibers for cordage, like jute, sisal, and manila hemp.
Well, jute was controlled by the Japs in World War II, then what are you going to do then?
With Philippine and East Indian sources of hemp in the hands of the Japanese, and shipment of jute from India curtailed, American hemp must meet the needs of our Army and Navy, as well as of our industries. In 1942, patriotic farmers, at the government's request, planted 36,000 acres of seed hemp an increase of several thousand%. The goal for 1943 is 50,000 acres of seed hemp.
If I ever became president,
Kentucky, much of
I
the
would
seed hemp
immediately
acreage
want to
is
see
on
the
river
weed.
bottom land such as this, along the Kentucky River Gorge.
Show me the
Some
weed.
of these fields are
Now.
inaccessible except by boat.
Be like,
Thus,
sir, we have
plans
this
are
file
afoot
on
for a
aliens
great
and the cure for
expansion of the
cancer.
hemp
Nope,
industry
show me the
as a
weed.
part of the war program. This film is designed to
I
tell
want to
farmers
see
how
the
to handle
goddamn
this
weed
ancient
that
crop,
these
now
motherfucking
little known
scientists grew
outside
right
Kentucky
now.
and Wisconsin. This is hemp seed. Be careful how you use it. For to grow hemp legally, you must have a federal registration and tax stamp. This is provided for in your contract. Ask your AAA committeeman or your county agent about it. Don't forget, hemp demands a rich, well-drained soil such as is found here in the bluegrass region of Kentucky or in central Wisconsin. It must be loose and rich in organic matter. Poor soils won't do. Soil that will grow good corn will usually grow hemp. Hemp is not hard on the soil. In Kentucky, it has been grown for several years on the same ground, though this practice is not recommended. A dense and shady crop, hemp tends to choke out weeds. Here's a Canada thistle that couldn't stand the competition. Dead as a dodo. Thus, hemp leaves the ground in good condition for the following crop. For fiber, hemp should be sown 5 pecks to the acre. With drill, the closer the rows, the better. These rows are spaced about 4 inches. This hemp has been broadcast. Either way, it should be sown thick enough to grow a slender stalk. Here's an ideal stand. The right height to be harvested easily, thick enough to grow slender stalks that are easy to cut and process. Stalks like these here on the left, they yield the most fiber and the best. Those on the right are too coarse and woody. For seed, hemp is planted in hills like flour is easily spotted. In seed production, after the pollen has been shed, these male plants are cut out. These are the seeds on a female plant. Hemp for fiber is ready to harvest when the pollen is shedding and the leaves are falling. In Kentucky, hemp harvest comes in August. Here, the old standby has been the self-rake reaper, which has been used for a generation or more. Hemp grows so luxuriantly in Kentucky that harvesting is sometimes difficult, which may account for the popularity of the self-rake with its lateral stroke. A modified rice binder has been used to some extent. This machine works well in average hemp. Recently, the improved hemp harvester, used for many years in Wisconsin, has been introduced in Kentucky. This machine spreads the hemp in a continuous swath. It is a far cry from this fast and efficient modern harvester to the Armstrong model of yore. But here's one kind of harvester, at least, that doesn't stall in the heaviest hemp. In Kentucky, hand cutting is practiced in opening fields for the machines. In Kentucky, hemp is shucked as soon as safe after cutting, to be spread out for retting later in the fall. In Wisconsin, hemp is harvested in September. Here, the hemp harvester with automatic spreader is standard equipment. Note how smoothly the rotating apron lays the swath preparatory to retting. Here it is a common and essential practice to leave headlands around hemp fields. These strips may be planted to other crops, preferably small grain. Thus, the harvester has room to make its first round without preparatory hand cutting. Here the machine is running over corn stubble. When the cutter bar is much shorter than the hemp is tall, overlapping occurs. Not so good for retting. The standard cut is 8 to 9 feet. The length of time hemp is left on the ground to rot depends on the weather.
I don't like this dude's accent.
The swaths must be turned to get a uniform red.
Yep, you gotta turn your him.
When the woody core breaks away readily, like this, the hemp is about ready to take up and bind into bundles. Well-retted hemp is light to dark gray. The fiber tends to pull away from the stalk. The presence of stalks in the bowstring stage indicates that retting is well underway. When hemp is short or tangled, or when the ground is too wet for machines, it is bound by hand. A wooden buck is used. Twine will do for tying, but the hemp itself makes a good band.
Hell yeah.
When conditions are favorable, the pickup binder is commonly used. The
Funny
swaths should lie
that
smooth
we had
and
the
even,
same kind of
stalks parallel. The picker won't work
propaganda
well in
guy that did Nazi Germany propaganda, and then he came over here to America, fled to America, and started doing American propaganda. And it's funny that Hemp for Victory was also in Germany. I never knew that. That's the only reason why I did this stream. Thanks for stopping in, guys.
The goal for
We're about towards the end of the stream now.
acres.
I can get some sleep. I gotta go do some DoorDash and Instacart and shit tomorrow and try to make a couple bucks.
Standby cordage fiber
I could pay
staging a
a
strong
couple
comeback.
bills before the
This
end of
is
the month.
Kentucky hemp going into the dryer of a mill at Versailles. In the old days, breaking was done by hand, one of the hardest jobs known to man.
Holy shit.
Now the power breaker makes quick work of it.
Hell yeah, Thumpire. I'm doing okay. I'll say I'm doing okay. Thanks for stopping in, dude.
Spinning American hemp into rope yarn or twine in the old Kentucky River Mill at Frankfort, Kentucky. Another pioneer plant that has been making cordage for more than a century. All such plants will presently be turning out products spun from American-grown hemp.
Here my
Twine of
wife
various
was like,
kinds of
"Man,
tying, winding
you just think
armatures,
that
and upholsterer's
weed's cool
work.
and stuff, so you would love fucking hemp all over the place."
Rope
I'm like,
for
yes.
marine rigging and towing, for hay forks,
Fucking hemp
derricks,
everything,
and
why
heavy-duty
not?
tackle. Light-duty fire hose. Thread for shoes for millions of American soldiers. And parachute webbing for our paratroopers.
Yes, Timmy. Hemp has 1,000,001 uses.
As for the United States Navy, every battleship requires 34,000 feet of rope, and other craft accordingly.
Oh, yeah.
So here in the Boston Navy Yard, where cables for frigates were made long ago, crews are now working night and day making cordage for the fleet. In the old days, rope yarn was spun by hand.
Yeah.
Today,
Yeah,
even the rope
man. That's
walk
why I
is
do this
mechanized.
show. A little distraction from the
160
shitty
fathoms
things.
to go. The rope yarn feeds through holes in an iron plate. This is Manila hemp from the Navy's rapidly dwindling reserve. When that is gone, American hemp will go on duty again.
American
hemp for mooring ships, hemp for tow lines.
Hey, Air Juicer, what's up? Watching hemp for victory.
Hemp for tackle and gear. Hemp for countless naval uses, both on ship and shore. Just as in the days when old Ironside sailed the seas victorious, with her hempen shrouds and hempen sails.
Hempen sails.
Hemp for victory.
All right. Well, that's the end of that that hemp for victory thing I got there. Guys, you hit the tail end of the stream. I'm gonna have to get out of here. I gotta go and get up early, do some door dashing, and I was gonna try to hang out with my parents a little bit tomorrow. Thanks for watching, everybody. I've been trying to put out some shorts and stuff to get a couple extra bucks on the partner program, and just everybody showing up and like talking in the chat on Rumble. That helps tremendously too, because there's like a requirement for that and whatnot. And I gotta tell you, man, that check every month fucking helps out a lot. So, thanks for everybody that supports the channel, and I'm gonna get out of here. I should be on tomorrow. If I'm not doing the green pill again, I'll be playing some South Park. So thanks for watching. Peace out. If you're watching on Rumble, I will raid somebody, so you're not gonna be bored. I will set you guys up. Peace out, everybody. Looks like Virgie G is live, so go check out Virgie. Not 100% what he's doing. It says video games, but there's like music notes, so he might be tampering with some music. So he's a cat right now. So, cat with a gun. Peace out, everybody.
Ugly little gravel road, rusty sign swinging, spray paint grass, professorial code inside. Chalkboard jars, no posters, no mascot, just a beaker, busted fan, old rotary padlock. Students in hoodies, cashing compas and books. He grade them on attention span, not how they homework looks. Open your mind, class. He tapped the ash, light flash. Today's exam on the plant behind the glass. Observe the sample, note the resin on the crown. Smell that berry bitter spice, that's where legends get found. He hold it to the fluorescent like a gemstone car. Strawberry cough, my drills, and this a miracle thought. Welcome to Professor Grass Lab, where the walls glow faint and the jars all brag. Every bud got a story in the tags he scrawled. If you came for the truth, leave your fear at the wall. Welcome to Professor Grass Lab, where the unsanctioned lessons hit deeper than the bag. In the dark green shadows on the edge of town, you either learn or you burn or you pass it around. Got it. pace like a mad monk. Pointer made a glass tube. Cannabis, sativa, indica, that old school feud. Most of that talk, just lazy man's map. I trace families, flavors down the decades, cracks on the board, scribble haze, arrows branch out weird. Old heads crossed it, lost it. I resurrect what you feared. Jackaroo, super silver. I still chase the hanties. Somewhere in a seed vault wearing dusty plant panties. He twists the jar, label smudge. Kim's grandkids here. From a leaky bag, rumor to an era of cheer. One seed hit the soil, someone noticed the sting. Now every diesel cousin wear that sharp little ring. Welcome to Professor Grass Lab, where the walls glow faint and the jars all brag. Every bug got a story in the tags he scrawled. If you